We are going to. I'm Abhilash, your UPSC Civil Service Examination mentor, and Abhi, today is 24th May and 2026, and we are going to do the analysis of the question paper. It will take me time. I'll be very slow because parallelly में साथ साथ जो है ये I hope my screen is also visible and जहाँ पे भी आपको ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ So this is the question paper which was available to us. In section D, question paper. अगर हम देखें, I will just run you through the question paper first. The first impression is always after reading the question paper. So this is English question paper and इसका हिंदी मीडियम वाला पार्ट आया नहीं है. बट जो एनालिसिस हम करेंगे वो ओवरऑल क्वेश्चन पेपर का ही करेंगे. So if you see the pattern of question in from the perspective of a English aspirant, English medium aspirant, the first and foremost is this time the question paper has two different kind of font mixing, that is italics, italics के साथ साथ यहाँ पे जो आप देखेंगे see this kind of different kind of font italics है. And then एक क्वेश्चन का ये है एंड थर्ड पैटर्न इज ABCD ऑप्शनल दिया हुआ है. तो ये एक नया पैटर्न ऑफ क्वेश्चन करने का तरीका हुआ है कि पहले क्या होता था, एक स्टेटमेंट होता था और उसके साथ फिर ऑप्शन आ जाता. अब पहले स्टेटमेंट के साथ साथ कुछ assertions एंड रीजन दिया गया है एंड देन उसमें से पूछा जा रहा है कि विच वन इज द राइटर. So here we see that our first reading always is about which kind of subject. Here it is, you can see that the first itself, which section D starts with ancient history, then again ancient history, then again ancient history, ancient history, ancient history. Then we see history, then history, then again British history, then Montesquieu's again British history, then a current affair personalities actually, and then which among the following text is from, then this is also up ancient history. Uh, Ancient history 11th also. यहाँ पे then comes again history, then ancient history, then ancient history, Jainism and ancient history. Painting in bark caves in ancient history. तो हम कम से कम अराउंड 17 से 18 क्वेश्चन तक आ चुके हैं एंड वील सी दैट एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री हैज आर्ट एंड कल्चर एंड हिस्ट्री एंड काइंड ऑफ हैज been like 20 questions around that has been we are seeing. Then again Bartholi Ika, then we are saying Rigvedic period, 20 questions around that. Then there is a UNESCO declaration site. Then Mother Amsar site. Then with respect to Andaman Nicobar geography. Then there is a major part of again geography. Then the Sagarmala program, current affair, year 1, 2, 3 statement, and then which one are the right again. ये देखिए the pattern you see. It's a very simple question has been created such a long. इसमें एक ही question नहीं है. Again this, if you read the questions, you will realize that the reading time to each question is very long, which makes it difficult for us to understand and then collect क्या पूछ रहा है, फिर क्या option है like that. That's how the question paper is becoming difficult. ये थोड़ी सी डिटेल है ये वाले पार्ट्स लेक टुर्काना के रेफरेंस में अगेन. देन साइंस एंड टेक, क्लाइमेट चेंज, अगेन एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी, application of mangrove ice, Birmingham International Seaport, Kerala. Okay, geography, okay. So like that, if I go through this, you will see that again. बड़े अच्छे तरीके से these questions notice different kind of notice पिक्चर में दिखाते हैं. इस पर इंटरपोल का नोटिस आया है. then which notice, then निरंतर इंस्टीट्यूट MOECC का full one. The entire question is, you will see that only in this paper only two questions they have to present this. Then Indo-Germany vision through 64 DILB program. X is born in UK, was conferred the Nobel Prize in 2025. He was a professor in an American university, and this prize was announced and it by X. बहुत ही बढ़िया तरीके से क्वेश्चन फ्रेम किया गया है. Then, then tennis, UPSC's favorite area, sports, prize. Okay. This time something from BAFTA, first time I think, film wise. Then comes one is about blockchain technology. 52 is about economic e-commerce revenue model. 53 is about financial inclusion index, RBI. 54 ONDC, UPI. 55 real world assets tokenization are correct. digital tokens of blockchain technology. This is something very new which I can see in this paper repetitively. Yeah, coming out of it. So we will come back to as we go section wise. When we go section wise, mirror analysis is like that. So here, moving on to the entire paper, the paper is actually in the, if I say, it is in the range of moderate to difficult. So इसमें कोई टेंशन वाली बात नहीं है. The reason is if it is difficult for you, it is going to be difficult for all the aspects. So which makes it a fair game. That, for example, if you say there are questions which comes in the mind, sir cut off क्या होगा, सर क्या होगा कट ऑफ वगैरह. यूजुअली देखो अगर सबके लिए डिफिकल्ट गया है तो आप ये अज्यूम कर लो कि इट इज गोइंग टू बी फेयर इनफ फॉर ऑल ऑफ देम टुगेदर कि कितना जाने वाला है. तो इसके कट ऑफ का वरी आप बिल्कुल ना रखें. And accuracy is what is more important, as I mentioned previously also. So we are going to go by that. So moving forward for our analysis. See, in this chapter, I'm not giving you answer keys because many of the solve kiya hai. There are certain answers I have, but UPSC is going to give these answers. So we will better focus on UPSC's answer and will not debate on ye galat hai ki ye sahi hai. What UPSC gives an answer, that is the basis of their correction. That is the basis of your marks also. And definitely, this is not a I'm not trying to gain views by giving this YouTube analysis in YouTube. This is absolutely for all my students who are into the self-study program. And I've mentioned that this is as a platform as India's first self-study program. You get daily mails of foundation and studies. So you can enroll for that. You can see the description. You can visit the elevate.ias.com platform. And also, I want to give that people who are preparing for means means 2026. I have on 29th of May, first session on GS means. I call it as Elevate means. It's all about answer writing. So please visit the website. Visit website and enroll if you have whatever be the outcome of the result. Attend the session. आप मेंस की तैयारी करना शुरू कर दीजिए. रिजल्ट नहीं आएगा कोई बात नहीं, अगले साल हो जाएगी. पर अगर रिजल्ट आ रहा है तो हमारे पास टाइम बहुत कम है बिकॉज 20 April August is the exam. नहीं, so we need to be very very clear about it. So this analysis is basically for people who are preparing for next year, जिन्होंने आज इस बार पेपर समझने के लिए लिया कि कैसा होगा पेपर है ना. एंड नॉट फॉर द पीपल जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की, रिपीटर्स हैं, दे उनका खुद का एनालिसिस है. आई विल नॉट debate on anybody's perception about paper. All of us have different way of looking at the paper and knowledge and difficulty. As I mentioned, the paper is always you win the paper only through your strength. There are certain subject areas which is somebody's strength, say ancient history, or say maybe geography or economics, and you win the paper by that because your accuracy at those subject questions are very, very high, which is not a generic statement for everybody. So hence that will be very different. But from my perspective, looking at what a student could have feel or felt through, there are few things. There are few things from the UPSC's way of writing the question paper or presenting the question paper. Having a long question paper कोई नई बात नहीं है. पिछले साल भी इंग्लिश टेक्स्ट लंबे लंबे थे, क्वेश्चंस बड़े थे. But creating a pardon me for my voice, this thing, my health is little having a little challenge. सो बट टुडे एनालिसिस करना बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज अगेन कल तो फिर आप भूल जाएंगे इसको, शायद से मैं भी भूल जाऊँ तो इससे बेटर कि आई डू इट टुडे. What UPSC has been doing is we use PYQ, previous year questions, for our preparation. But constantly the PYQ's pattern and trends have been changing. The demand on which PYQs are based on, they are changing. Today, your knowledge of comprehending, समझने की शक्ति, English का, is very, very important when you read the question. क्वेश्चन पढ़ लोगे, बट इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू कॉम्प्रीहेंड इट, अगर आप उसे समझ नहीं पाए ठीक से, तो आप शायद से उस ऑप्शन को करेक्ट ना कर पाए. तो योर जीएस पेपर वन में कॉम्प्रीहेंशन ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. छोटे सेंटेंस में क्वेश्चंस है नहीं, questions are now in a bigger statement. In fact, half of the paper is covered in one question. So that also creates a psychological pressure of completing the paper in a speculated time, so stipulated time. सो इसलिए आपको लगता है कि मैं 2 मिनट में क्वेश्चन कर लूंगा, 3 मिनट में कर लूंगा, वो भाई अभी तक तो पढ़ ही जा रहा हूँ, मैं समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है. If this is the kind of thing which anxiety which keeps happening, then that means we are becoming, whatever the UPSC is looking to put you in challenges. So we are going to go through that session. So यहाँ पे हमने देखा कि जो सुपरफिशियल स्टडीज हैं, अगर आपके पास नोट्स आ जाते हैं, या क्या बोलते हैं उसको, समरीज आ जाते हैं, ऐसी चीजें आ जाती हैं जिससे आपको लगता है कि ऊपर ऊपर से पढ़ ले से हो जाएगा, स्पेशली करंट अफेयर वाला एलिमेंट, then you are going to have a huge difficult time, because questions definitely, you may, when you read the question, because of superficial, you might feel that मुझे आता है, but then the question which has been asked needs a very depth kind of a study, understand from, not from the student perspective, but more from like a government employee officer perspective. वो अप्रोच ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, rather than studying like कि जीके एग्जाम में जा रहे हैं, कि क्विज प्लेटफॉर्म में जा रहे हैं. तो ये इस बार जो है, ये सारा चीज गया. आई कुड सी द क्वेश्चन राइटिंग का जो तरीका है, द वे दे हैव रिटन द क्वेश्चन इन द क्वेश्चन पेपर इटसेल्फ इज वेरी वेरी स्मार्ट, वेरी डिफरेंट, विच इज वेयर योर माइंडसेट ऑफ, जो भी आप मॉक से करते आ रहे हो, जो टिपिकल पैटर्न्स वाला जो आप करते आ रहे हो, ये भाई 6 पैटर्न के क्वेश्चन है, ये जो भी ये ट्रिक्स वगैरह सब बताते हैं कोचिंग में, यूट्यूब में, ये सब कोई काम का नहीं आने. इनफैक्ट वो आपको और डरा देंगे, तो भाई क्या ही बोल रहे. सेकेंड इज आपकी इमेजिनेशन व्हेन यू स्टडी समथिंग, वेदर यू आर एबल टू रिलेट टू इट multiple subject wise, that is where one sees this is increasing more and more. फिर सोर्स ऑफ बुक डेफिनेटली ना कोचिंग के नोट्स, ना नोट, जीके एडिशंस, मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर कमिंग फ्रॉम पी वाई गवर्नमेंट रिपोर्ट्स, पीआईबी रिपोर्ट्स, या मिनिस्ट्री के डॉक्यूमेंट्स. वो कंपाइलेशन वाले जमाने जो है, वो अभी थोड़ी थोड़ी पीछे की तरफ जा रहा है. हमने भी कंपाइलेशन दिया है, बट आई विल टॉक यू अबाउट व्हाट आई हैड डन, what was why it was different. If you have seen the prelims booster which Elevate IAS, under that which I released, but it was different. एंड देन अगर आपको कोई चीज समझ में आती है, तो ये आपको पूरा एंड तक समझना पड़ेगा. दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड रियलाइज. तो आज के डेट में द वे UPSC is looking at is not looking at you as a student. Okay, graduate hai, fresher hai, not like that. They are looking you as a think tank. They are looking at the aspirants who are going to come to this career, are very aware officers, very aware governance driven, public service driven officers, and that is where your information, or the way you have to digest any information, they are assuming that you are doing that. So people who understand कि भाई यही करियर मुझे करना है, and I need to understand this policy, why I need to understand this, why this is the uh, you know why this is formed, how this is formed, how government takes decision on that, how the policy is executed, all this thing, as if they want to become bureaucrat only. तभी जो है आपका जो है, इसको क्वेश्चन पेपर को आप डील कर पाओगे. पर आप लग रहा है मैं प्रीलिम्स में दे, यूपीएससी में दे देता हूँ, मैं ये भी दे देता हूँ, दूसरा एग्जाम भी दे देता हूँ, ये एग्जाम भी दे देता हूँ, वो एग्जाम भी दे देता हूँ, पब्लिक सर्विस के अलावा भी 50 एग्जाम और दे देता हूँ, खाली क्वेश्चन आंसर ही तो करने हैं, सब कॉमन ही तो है। इफ यू गो बाय दैट माइंडसेट, देन यू आर नॉट डेडिकेटिंग योरसेल्फ फॉर ए करियर लाइन ऑफ जॉब। ठीक है, तो इसी वजह से वहाँ चैलेंज आ जाएगा। आप पढ़ तो बहुत कुछ रहे हो, बट हियर द अप्रोच इज दे आर अज्यूमिंग दैट यू आर रेडी टू जॉब एंड सर्व एज अ ऑफिसर इन द ग्राउंड। तो आपको उसका बैकग्राउंड, चीजों का टेक्निकल समझ सब कुछ पता है। अगर डेफिनेटली मैंने इनिशियली जो परसेप्शन आया मेरा, जो मैं बोलूँगा मॉडरेट से हार्ड की तरफ पेपर है, एंड स्पेशली पीपल हु फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू रीड, पूरा रीड करके कॉम्प्रिहेंड करने में, चाहे सिंपल सा आंसर हो उसका, बट द रीडिंग पार्ट इज वेरी चैलेंजिंग, एंड while you are reading it you realize that this. So coming to the breakdowns of question, ये मेरे question breakdown के pattern है, you can have a different kind of ऊपर नीचे numbering, but मैंने किसको environment section में डाला, मैंने किसको science and tech में डाला, basis on that I would say that environment was around 1820, science and tech 1820, ancient culture and history around 15 plus questions, polity and government around 14 to 16 questions, economy 12 to 14 questions, IR 10 to 12 questions, geography 10 to 12 questions, modern history around 8 to 10 questions. तो वी सी दैट ये थोड़ी सी ज्यादा वेटेज इस तरफ आया है। और दो क्वेश्चन, तीन क्वेश्चन है एथिक्स के टाइप के भी थे, जो जिनको मैंने इसमें डाल दिया, पॉलिटी एंड गवर्नमेंट। ठीक है, तो what is basically few questions which kind of जो science and tech के question थे, that kind of shared that news, या it is not engineering के बच्चों के लिए या like that, but जो news में आजकल आता है science and tech, how they were very important, and they you need to understand them in as much at the depth like you do your polity or economy. One was about Dhruv 64 DIRB, India satellite program. Then the question 51, the blockchain, distributed ledger technology and governance use case. Question 55, CBDC versus UPI. Question 67, LLM. ये सेक्शन डी के पेपर डी के मैं पैटर्न से बोल रहा हूँ। Question 70, green hydrogen, and question 72, drone swarms. If you, I will just share in on the screen again. Question 72 जो था, which of the following statements with regard to drone swarms is are correct? They use terahertz bands of frequency to communicate with command center. Individual drones in the swarm can communicate with other drones in the swarm. GPS spoofing is a commonly used technique to counter drone swarm attack. Select the answer using the code before. तो ड्रोन स्वार्म के बारे में अगर क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, so I'm sure आप you know why this is, because this entire warfare or which happened is from since March, since Operation Sindoor and other areas, wherever other part of the world, wherever the warfares have happened, the drone technology has been the most evident utilized by all this uh, new age war which is happening. And in that regards वो आपसे उन्होंने एक क्वेश्चन बनाया है, बिकॉज टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन, जिसमें ड्रोन काम की बात हो रही है। तो अगर हम इसको सॉल्व करने की बात करें, तो इन्होंने पहला क्वेश्चन दिया है कि टेरा हेड्स बैंड पे ही ये काम करता है, तो इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट। देर आर मल्टीपल वे ड्रोन्स वर्क, and they communicate each other with coordination, definitely, that we have seen, especially in the drone design pattern where many drones work come together, create patterns in the sky. And GPS spoofing is known as counter drone tactic, and this was also known about when this Iraq, Iran Iran thing was happening. So apart from this, eh, हाँ, अगर इफ यू हैव दिस क्वेश्चन मुझे कहाँ से पढ़ना चाहिए, इसे ये तो न्यूज में आता है कि एक डिटेल या दिस इज मोर अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजिकल डिस्कशन या डिबेट। जब आप करते हो समझने की कोशिश ये ऐसा क्यों होता है, दैट क्यूरियोसिटी। तो अगर हम तो मैं इसका आंसर्स तो नहीं दे रहा। आंसर अगर वैसे पूछा जाए मुझे, आंसर का हम वेट करते हैं यूपीएससी क्या बोलता है, उसके बाद हम करेंगे। बट बेसिकली ये रेडियो फ्रीक्वेंसी पे भी काम करता है ड्रोन। आपने देखा होगा कि हम यूज करते हैं, ये ट्रू है। बिकॉज ड्रोन ड्रोन जो शोज करते हैं वहाँ पे इट हैपेंस। जीपीएस स्पूफिंग आपने सुना ही होगा, टू डाइवर्ट द ड्रोन इनटू द ट्रैप, ये भी ट्रू है। तो मेरे हिसाब से तो ये है। बट so coming back to our analysis part of it. तो और भी बाकी क्वेश्चन है हम that definitely I read through. Question 70 was which of the following statement with regard to green hydrogen is correct? It is decarbonized hydrogen obtained from natural gas before being combined with carbon capture and storage. It is produced using electrolysis of water with electricity generated by renewable energy. National Green Hydrogen Mission of India aims for abatement of nearly 50 mmT of annual greenhouse emission by 2030. तो ये तीन स्टेटमेंट है, and out of these three statements we have to figure out what are which is true. So the if we so the first statement, which is about green hydrogen from natural gas, that is actually blue hydrogen. And the correct is in it is the green hydrogen is produced through electrolysis with renewable electricity, which is true. And the India's national green hydrogen mission target is around 50 mmT CO2 equal annual abatement by 2030, which is correct. तो अगर आपको इतना अवेयरनेस है तो यस, बट अगर इतना डेप्थ में आपको पता नहीं है तो आप तो ये क्वेश्चन नहीं कर पाओगे। सिमिलर क्वेश्चन इज 16 67। 67 क्वेश्चन जो है ऊपर, दिस इज अबाउट which of the following statement with regard to LLM large language models used in machine learning is correct? LLMs assign probabilities to the next possible words and then pick the one with the highest probability. LLMs process data through mathematical observation, manipulation error. LLMs produce unbiased outputs. ये तीन चार ही चीजें LLM के तारीफ में करी गई है। Now, if you are aware about LLMs, जो कि large language models हैं, you will realize that you have to understand AI, but you have to understand these are the basis of AI. And the statement one says that probability to possible next जब आप गूगल में टाइप करते हो तो आगे नेक्स्ट वर्ड आ जाता है. तो दैट इज एलएलएम. दे आर ट्रेन टू ऑप्टिमाइज लॉस टू रिड्यूस प्रेडिक्शन एरर. आपकी गलती हो ना प्रेडिक्शन व्हाट कुड बी द नेक्स्ट, दे आर ट्रेन फॉर दैट. एंड एज यू कीप ऑन डूइंग इट दे काइंड ऑफ train more on that. How is your pattern? Unbiased output, or definitely it is questionable because they learn from what it is coming from. They cannot be unbiased on its own. So that is incorrect. So somewhere the answer is B. But then we will look for, because I said ki pehle bhi that ki today right now I will not go on answers evaluation basis. Reason being that UPSC is going to give answer. But LLM का जब हमको बात क्वेश्चन आया LLM का, तो it is not just knowing the full form of the LLM. It is now these days it is knowing about what utility does it have in the AI model like that. तो वो डिटेल में अगर आपको पता है then you are able to crack this question. Okay, so science and tech this time has taken a good amount of this thing. And then somehow that AI literacy is, I felt that AI literacy and AI का जो impact है, the shadow of AI is more in the prelims question paper. Only not about just full form basis, but on the basis of understanding what is the way the quest that technology works, understand it in the governance perspective, and then ethics, and then AI in public delivery services. ये सारे पैटर्न की तरफ शायद से somehow UPSC is trying to mold you. That's why the question format is like that. Next, coming to the topic of environment questions. And now environment questions were not asked like, a particular, why is this like that? Why is mangrove like that? Here it was spoken about the applicability in ecology, in ecosystem, what role does mangrove play and things like that. Similarly, there were questions on REDD plus, reducing emission from deforestation and degradation, climate finance and carbon credit governance under UNFCCC, then long-term low emission development strategies, India's climate commitment architecture, and Paris Agreement obligation, and then about mangroves, then Amur falcon, migratory bird, and then the OCOTEX, International Textile Sustainability Certificate System, Global Governance and Trade Policy Linkage. हम देख लेते हैं ये क्वेश्चन. अगर आप देखोगे कि इन question number 39, which of the following is the most significant implication of obtaining Eco-Tech certification for Airy Silk in the global textile industry? One, it allows Indian export to compete in the high-end markets that prioritize chemical-free product. Two, it confirms that Airy Silk meets international safety, environment, and quality standards, enabling the entry into premium eco-conscious market. Select the answers using the code below. तो अगर आपको क्या नॉलेज है इसके बारे में आपको क्या पता है, उसके हिसाब से आप करोगे. तो अगर आपको इसके बारे में ऑब्वियसली ये ट्रेड सर्टिफिकेशन वाला पॉइंट है दैट की कोई भी चीज को इट इज सर्टिफाइड बाय टेक्सटाइल दैट इज फ्री फ्रॉम दिस टॉक्सिक केमिकल है, गारंटी सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड, एंड अनलॉक्स एक्सेस टू हाई वैल्यू ग्लोबल ऑर्गेनिक इको कॉन्शियस मॉडल. तो उस हिसाब से ओकर टेक्स स्टैंडर्ड जो है ये चीज प्रमोट करता है. अगर आपको पता ही नहीं कि ओकर टेक्स सर्टिफिकेशन क्या वैल्यू रखता है, then you will not understand. You need to understand not just the name. It is a standard about this thing, but it also mention about chemical free and eco conscious market में having safety. Going back to definition say this shift is about now policy implication, ecological reasoning, certification system and sustainable governance. तो अभी अगर next is like you see the we saw that about Interpol, निरंतर, parliamentary committee and BIMSTEC center इसके बारे में बात हुई. तो it is not just about names and details, but it is like where, what, why everything is important, what is connected, what do they work on, what are their mandates. ये सारी बातें भी जब आप पढ़ोगे, जब आप प्रिपेयर करते हो, आपके ध्यान में ये आनी चाहिए. क्वेश्चंस इस पर भी था. And one of the most ये था जो एप्लीकेशन, इनफैक्ट द एंटायर जीएस रिवीजन बूस्टर जो मैंने बनाया था वाज आल्सो ऑन दिस, दैट द स्टैटिक रिमेंस देयर. जो भी करंट पोर्शन है वो उससे कैसे रिलेटेड है, बेसिस ऑन विच द डायनामिसिटी और डायनामिक द सिलेबस बिकम डायनामिक एंड यूपीएससी टेंड्स टू फाइंड क्वेश्चंस अराउंड दैट वेज. तो ब्लॉकचेन के ऊपर हो, ये एंशिएंट रिवर पे हो, क्लाइमेट गवर्नेंस पे, यू कुड सी दिस क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आर कमिंग in that nature. Let us now go subject wise. If you have any questions till now, you can put it in the live chat or in the comment. I will watch the video again, or otherwise you can WhatsApp me. See, this is our YouTube channel, and all the details to reach out to me is there in the description, also in the bio and everything. You can have a look at it. Why this session is happening? It is so long. I know it is very slow. I'm doing it live rather than doing a recorded session because I would want you to hold your paper in your hand और उसके साथ साथ आप समझे पेपर को. पहली बार में समझना बड़ा मुश्किल है, स्पेशली फॉर फर्स्ट टाइमर्स. बिकॉज अगर आपने PYQs किए नहीं है 5 साल के PYQs, you will not understand what is the context or why I am saying so. Because I focus on mentoring about self study. तो ऐसा खाली क्लासरूम टीचिंग करने से भी कुछ होगा नहीं. आपको किन किन चीजों का ध्यान रखना है, व्हाट शुड बी योर जनरल अवेयरनेस व्हेन यू लर्न अ टॉपिक, इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू हेल्प आउट विद दिस एनालिसिस टुडे. बिकॉज अगर हम वैसा नहीं करेंगे तो ये सब तो अनएंडिंग है, लेकिन हमको तो एग्जाम क्रैक करना है ना. तो दैट्स इट. कमिंग टू द टॉपिक हिस्ट्री, एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री एंड कल्चर. So around 13 to 14 questions were asked, and archaeology पे NCERT लेवल स्टडीज था क्वेश्चन था. और बुद्धिज्म का भी, बुद्धिज्म ऐसे भी, बुद्धिज्म और जैनिज्म ऐसे भी बहुत ही पसंदीदा फेवरेट टॉपिक रहा यूपीएससी का. सो दे ऑलवेज काइंड ऑफ one or two questions are always there in prelims or mains around that. And then again temple architecture and Sangam age economy. So here we see that these are the areas from where the questions have come. In case of modern history, they have kind of, you know, there's a very applicative kind of approach. There is speaking about questions on communal electorates and separate representation, Subhash Chandra Bose and INA strategy, agrarian movements and peasant mobilization, British policy impact on Indian society and economy. और बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन डायरेक्ट नहीं था. इट वाज वेरी वेरी एप्लीकेटिव इन द नेचर दैट आप अगर हिस्ट्री का स्टोरी नहीं समझते, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड क्वेश्चन पूछ कैसे रहा है, क्या रिलेट किया है. Similarly, in geography, there were 3 questions from physical geography. Question 21, 23, 23, 24. Static geography, 29, 35. Maritime boundaries and this thing. International geography, 36 and 40. And this I'm talking about paper D of paper. बिना एटलस के तो मैंने पहले भी कहा पढ़ाई मुश्किल है ज्योग्राफी की. यू नीड टू होल्ड ऑन द एटलस इन योर हैंड एंड देन स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग. क्लास 9th and 10th लेवल की ज्योग्राफी थी, not bigger, but applicative mind or your observations when you read through atlas is very important. In environment, again, there's a huge chunk of questions, and you could see that the international conventions was asked in question number 22nd, question number 30, question number 31. Similarly, on biodiversity and ecology, question number 26, question number 27, question number 33, question number 37. Sustainable governance पे क्वेश्चन नंबर 38, क्वेश्चन नंबर 39 एंड डिजास्टर एंड क्लाइमेट रिस्क पे क्वेश्चन नंबर 32। सब अगर ऐसे पैटर्न को देखने की कोशिश करें तो आप देखोगे क्वेश्चन 27 28 से लेके क्वेश्चन 39 30 40 तक इट इज ऑल अबाउट एनवायरमेंट। तो एनवायरनमेंट को भी एज अ गवर्नमेंट या मिनिस्ट्री का यूटिलिटी के हिसाब से क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है कि वो मिनिस्ट्री करती क्या है, कौन सा पॉलिसी फ्रेम से क्या कर रहा है, और किसका क्या ऑब्लिगेटेड है, लाइक दैट बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस वर ऑफ दैट नेचर। नेक्स्ट आता है साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी एंड यस दिस पेपर हैड साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी एज द मेन लीडिंग स्टार। There is no doubt about it. All the topics of science and technology almost were covered, which is there in news. Name it, and it was there. There was a question around it. So it was more of a technology. But I'm still saying it is not engineering part of it, but it is the awareness of science and technology, which is where you see the question paper turning into. There were some difficult questions because हम usually name, definition तक जाते हैं science and technology ke, but here they were asking the applicative part of it. They were asking utilization part of it, which made the questions very difficult. You either knew it or had no idea. Next comes economy. In economy, we had various questions from ONDC, e-commerce, sustainability bonds, and yeah, pure economics पे इस बार बहुत कम क्वेश्चन है, questioning your definition knowledge. But yes. Next question is on polity and governance in that area. Article 13 in constitutional interpretation came. Parliamentary procedure in question 84, ST provision and zero FIR. There are questions. So अगर हम बोलेंगे क्या लक्ष्मीकांत से सब हो जाएगा, I think that perception is now going to go away because those are not the kind of questions which they are asking. This is now changing into more applicative, जो न्यूज एलिमेंट में आ रहे हैं, that way. So your question framing will not be very Lakshmikant, right? Maybe Lakshmikant changes if you add on a new pattern of question. But as of now, जो direct जैसे question आता है, वैसे question नहीं था. One surprising part was this time ethics had three questions around that in prelims as well. And kind of, now this is ethical dimension, that it is about awareness about governance and part of it. अगर आपको नहीं पता तो आप गलत करोगे, बट इफ यू आर एथिकली रॉन्ग तो फिर आपका पोजीशन इन दी सिविल सर्विसेज यूजुअली इज स्टक, आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते। तो बेटर इसकी you prepare when you prepare for PSC ethics is about understanding all the governance process and accountability frame. सेपरेटली पहले हम आईआर को एज अ पार्ट ऑफ ही करते थे, बट सेपरेटली अगर हम आईआर को पढ़ेंगे तो दिस टाइम मेनी क्वेश्चंस वर देयर लाइक दैट इन कवरिंग द माइग्रेशन फ्रेमवर्क, बिम्स्टेक सेंटर्स, यूएन पीस कीपिंग पे क्वेश्चन पूरा डिटेल में आया है, एंड आसियान कनेक्टिविटी एंड ईआई डिप्लोमेसी. नाउ एवरी एस्पिरेंट मस्ट लर्न फ्रॉम यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स 2026 व्हाट. पहला चीज है आप जो रिपोर्ट्स आते हैं उसको पढ़ते नहीं है, प्लीज स्टार्ट रीडिंग रिपोर्ट्स. समरी नहीं, समरी फ्रॉम रेप्यूटेड. ये नहीं चलेगा मेमोराइजिंग, रीडिंग करंट अफेयर विदाउट स्टैटिक लिंकेज. दिस इज न्यू वीक एलिमिनेशन प्रैक्टिस विदाउट रीडिंग. बिना पढ़े आप एलिमिनेशन का प्रोसेस अगर करते हो, ऑप्शनल ऑप्शनल समझ के, कई लोग ऐसे ना इंग्लिश में पूछा है तो ऐसे करके करते हैं एज अ ट्रिक, वैसा नहीं चलेगा. You have to have few things very clear. Number one, conceptual clarity. Number two, analysis of PAQ. Number three, perspective from governance ministry elements है. ये आपका वर्किंग एरिया होने वाला है, तो उसके हिसाब से आपकी तैयारी होनी चाहिए. Understanding of governance, practicing elimination, or studying the paper, and PIV plus starting integration. डेली PIV और स्टार्टिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन को आप कैसे इंटीग्रेट करोगे आपके प्रिपरेशन. Newspapers are there, so many things are there. Basically, you have to see कौन आपको डरा रहा है, कौन आपको सिखा रहा है. डरने से, जो डरा रहा है, फीडिंग फियर मॉन्गरिंग से पढ़ा रहा है, that is not going to come in exam. It's okay to have knowledge about it, but हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है ये 2-3 साल की तैयारी में? What is our objective in this 2-3 years preparation? Is to clear the paper and join the service, not to learn everything and anything about anything and then try to give the paper with that. Not that. So you have to strategize, know your strength, and accordingly go. And that's why I keep on saying that self-study is the best way to go. Second, I would also like to reiterate it again, people who have watched till now, अभी तक जो सुन रहे मेरी बात और मेंस देने वाले, उन्होंने प्रीलिम्स अभी दिया है और मेंस देने वाले हैं, वो डेफिनेटली मेरे 29th मई का सेशन अटेंड करें. वेबसाइट में जाएं, देखें, डिटेल आउट करें. और number two, which I have uh, spoken here is सोर्सेस. कहाँ से हम क्या पढ़े, तो ये देखिए, तो एनालिसिस है कई सारी चीज़ों का. बट एज ऑफ नाउ, अगर हम क्वेश्चन पेपर को एनालाइज करें, तो दीज वर द एरियाज वेयर थिंग्स केम इन मोस्टली. The PIB, then the economic survey, then NCRT books, then Lakshmikant, then Spectrum, Mighty and DT reports, RBI annual report, MEA का website, and environment reports. And as we told, as we understand that science and tech was the this times this thing. So if we see that 2027 में किस तरह बातें चलेगी, so these are certain area. But then yes, once the year happens, we understand what is the kind of preparation required for that. So if you my final message here for today's session is पहले तो हमको ये एग्जाम की तैयारी करने एज ए करियर दैट वी आर गोइंग टू बी अ फ्यूचर सिविल सर्वेंट एंड दैट माइंडसेट वी नीड टू प्रिपेयर फॉर दिस एग्जामिनेशन. UPS is looking like that as if you are going to become and how you are going to approach the study. And second is something which is mandatory when you become a governor or governor serving public sector officer is you need to understand constitutional frameworks, institutional machineries, how they operate, and policy implementation, think tank. Then the emerging technology which are included in governance are very fast, very rapid induction is happening. And without technology's presence, delivering governance to entire population of the country is going to be very a difficult challenge. And there are chances of civil unrest as well. Hence, first and foremost is to make them educate and make them understand about their power, about their constitutional power, and various other things where they can figure out what is happening with them. Otherwise, the technology will create a whole lot of difference between haves and have-nots. Then comes, the governance, the technology, the society, the economy, and the ethics. With this, I would say things are In some part of the thing, there are things that are in a better place. There is some part of the thing, especially where the resource mapping is not done properly, there the misutilization is causing much more challenging lives, not just for them, but also for people of their country. With this, I close my today's first analysis of paper one. Let me know how you felt. The questions and all the details, answers will be provided to you any which way if you join the uh, 29th of February. Uh, if you have any questions in your mind, anything which you want to ask, you have my WhatsApp number, you have my this thing, email ID. You can definitely put in your thoughts to me, and I'll definitely try as much as possible to sort it. With this, we end the session today. Thank you again.